Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Johnny Bluehorn Moriconi.
Hi, everybody. I'll be glad when you're dead and gone, you rascal, you. Yeah. Well, I'll be glad when you're dead and gone, you rascal, you. 'Cause you've been stealing all my peaches and eating all of my cherries too. I'm leaving in the morning and you ain't gonna know where I'm bound. Oh, Lord. I'm leaving in the morning and you ain't gonna know where I'm bound. 'Cause the woman I loved for 40 years done quit me and gone up and left this town. And I don't know where she at. People gonna be standing on the corner laughing when they drag your sorry butt by. Yeah. People gonna be standing on the corner laughing when they drag your sorry butt by. Ooh, yeah. 'Cause you ain't got a friend in this town, ain't nobody gonna cry. Oh, no. Well, I'll be glad when you're dead and gone, you rascal, you. I'll be glad when you're dead and gone, you rascal, you. 'Cause you've been stealing all my peaches and eating all of my cherries too. Oh, look out now.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Talkin' Tunes. I am your host, Frank Walsh. Thanks for tuning in today. Now, folks, the gentleman who you just heard is very well known in the local music scene and all throughout New England. He hails from Connecticut. He started playing trumpet when he heard Herb Alpert, Louis Prima, and some of the other greats that we're going to learn about today. He is currently touring all over the place. Have trumpet, have flugelhorn, will travel. He plays with some of the best musicians around, many of whom you have seen on the show before, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you this great singer, songwriter, recently released CD-er as well, Mr. Johnny Bluehorn Moriconi. John, how are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh man, this is so much fun. It took us a little while to do it. I know we've talked in the past about it, but I am so glad that we got it doing it today.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, as I was talking about, some of your backgrounds and some of your influences, which we can flesh out in a little bit. So why don't you take a couple of seconds and let the folks at home know a little bit more about you. Give you a little elevator speech and let the folks know at home about you a little bit.
Well, I pride myself in being stylistically diverse. I listen to all kinds of styles of music. As a kid, when I was growing up, and even now today. I started off, like you say, the reason I play the trumpet is because my mother did something when I was 8 years old that I had never seen her do before and have never seen her do since. She came home with 4 record albums.
Wow.
In one day. And they were all Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass.
Huh.
So that was right before I started the 4th grade, and that's when they came around to the classrooms.
So that's what, around 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there, give or
8.
take? 8?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 8. And they came around asking for, if children wanted to play instruments, and I put my hand up and said,
Good for you.
Play trumpet.
Wow. How easy or difficult was it for you to learn that?
The trumpet?
Yeah, to learn.
I'm fortunate. I picked up on it. It was the one thing that I picked up on right away. I had, as a kid back then, I tried sports. I tried different things, and I really wasn't feeling my element in any of them. But I picked up the trumpet, and I was able to catch on to it pretty well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you have any musicians in your family? Were your folks or any relatives or anything that might have put a little bug in your ear?
No. My mother liked records. She has some records in her collection from when she was younger, and I liked picking through those and seeing what kind of cool stuff she had. She had Rockin' Robin by Bobby Day. She had a couple of 45s by the Coasters. So amidst some of the not so palatable things that she had some cool records though too.
Cool.
But she had a cousin who grew up in Connecticut, but lived most of his adult life down in New Orleans, in the New Orleans area, and he played clarinet on the side.
Okay.
And he was pretty good at it too, and he would come home on holidays and bring his clarinet, and we would play together when I was a kid.
Cool. Now, when you started playing, was like some kids and like other kids who I have known or other musicians I've talked to, that they get that initial passion that, I want to play the trumpet or I want to play the guitar or whatever the case, and then they start to do it. And then it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to go and, play baseball or do other things. And they come back to it later on. Was that something that you stuck with all the way? Or was it, did you get frustrated along the way and said, I can't do this, and then come back to it? How did that process work?
I never put it down.
You never put it down?
I never put it down. I did it more as a chore at first.
Okay.
But I knew that I was good at it, and I kept up with it, and eventually I learned how to improvise.
Okay.
No one taught me how to do it. It just came to me. I was able to come up with my own little melodies.
Natural little gift that you had.
Exactly.
Did you kind of cut your teeth in some of the school bands? Were you part of the school bands?
Oh, yeah.
Or, marching bands and playing in schools and all that kind of stuff?
I marched all over the place and played in the school concerts. And we had a stage band initially when I was in the first year of high school, which is kind of like your small combo, maybe 15 or so musicians playing jazzier kind of stuff. And I got turned, I was lucky, I got turned on. I had really good teachers that turned me on to all kinds of different styles of music. I got turned on to classical from playing in school bands, and and now I have an affinity for that style. I got turned on to island styles of music, all kinds of different forms of rock and roll. And of course, I listened to the radio like crazy.
Sure.
And
yeah, that was our generation. That's pretty
Right.
much what everybody did. And everybody wanted to be who they were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
how did you, start getting to that point where you say, I really want to do this, and how did you start getting into bands? And either you joining a band or somebody pulling you into a band. When did that start happening for you?
Probably after I got out of the Air Force. When I got out of the Air Force, when I was in the Air Force, I jammed around with some different players. Of course, I didn't have time to be in any type of band situation at that time, but I kind of got the bug then. I was writing some poetry. I didn't put a complete song together, but I had those inclinations. But my oldest friend from back in Connecticut days was going to Berkeley College of Music in Boston. And when I got the Air Force, when I was in the Air Force, I jammed around with some different players. Of course, I didn't have time to be in any type of band situation at that time, but I kind of got the bug then. I was writing some poetry. I didn't put a complete song together, but I had those inclinations. But my oldest friend from back in Connecticut days was going to Berkeley College of Music in Boston. And when I got my discharge, it was about 2 or so months before his graduation from Berkeley. So I decided to move straight from Boston right after the day after I got my discharge. I went right to Boston. This is April of '83. Okay. And the grandiose plan at that time was he and I were going to form a band and go around make $1 million and be famous and the whole night. Of course, that didn't work out.
But you probably played around a lot, though.
Oh,
you
yeah.
probably hit the local circuit down there. You probably played Kenmore Square area, played the Rat, Lucifer. Was it back? Were those places around back then?
Yeah, that's back when Kenmore Square was really funky.
Yeah, that was a cool place.
Yeah, I went to all those places. I didn't perform in many of them until later on in the '80s. I got into my very first Boston area band in 1985. A band called Drive All Night.
Right. Yeah, I remember that name.
And we were in the circuit. We opened for just about everybody. We got to play with people like the Stompers and Barrence Whitfield and the Savages, TH and the Wreckage. And,
nice.
I can just go on with all that.
I probably saw you way back then and didn't know who you were.
Probably.
Because that was kind of my backyard. I grew up in Boston, so I hit all of those places. And I knew Barrence, when he was wild and crazy and had the long hair, and the Savages. They were an amazing band.
His shows were fantastic.
Yeah, he's still around.
Yes,
he's still banging it out there. But back in the day, he was, the Savages was an appropriate name for him and his band,
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Now, you've played in a couple of bands, and the evolution that you've had. When did you start getting really, fixed into the local music scene? Because we could drop a million names. We got the Boston Blues Society. We know when that formed with the Ricky King Russell, and we've got the Cheryl Arenas. We've got Tony Lynn Washington, Chris Fitz. We can rattle off a million names. When did you start getting involved and meeting in those people and getting to that prominence, that started building for you?
It was after I started performing in Mission of Blues.
Right.
And we
great band.
Right. In 1999, we went into and wound up winning the Boston Blues Challenge that year. Went to Memphis in January of 2000, and that was a great experience.
Yes.
Tremendous experience, and it was later in 2000 when I started to go to the Yard Rock in Quincy.
Right.
And the tremendous Sunday jam that they had there at that time, hosted by Steve Murphy.
Yep.
And that's where I met Rick,
right?
You know, and Cheryl, and
yep.
and all kinds of Timo Arthur, all kinds of different performers that played
right.
there.
Right.
And that's when I really started getting, cutting my teeth and getting into that, like you say, getting into the circuit.
Cool. When did you pick up the flugelhorn?
Oh gosh, I got that maybe 10, 11 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, I bought it sight unseen. I bought an instrument online that I'd never actually performed before, but I woke
up one morning and say, "Hey, what the heck? I'm just going to go buy a flugelhorn."
I just love the sound of it, and I got lucky. The tone on the thing is just absolutely beautiful. I didn't bring it today though.
That's great. How easy or difficult was the transition? Going from playing a trumpet to a flugelhorn.
It's really not that much of a difference. No, it's a different tonality, of course, and it's a larger instrument in terms of the amount of air that it takes to play it. But the difference isn't as drastic as you might think.
Okay.
It's the same. They're both B-flat instruments, so that there's no need to relearn fingerings to get the notes that you want, and they play by ear, so that helps.
Cool. Now, it takes a lot of air and a lot of breathing.
A lot of air.
To blow a horn.
A lot of hot air.
I should play the flugelhorn. So, how do you that? Are there exercises that you have to do? Are there ways in which that you build up your stamina, build up your strength? Where does that all come from? Because as a layman looking at that, sometimes, I've seen you and I've seen other horn players, by the end of the night they look like they're going to have a heart attack.
I don't do anything consciously.
Yeah.
There's no technique that I can think of that I do. It probably came just simply from starting at such a young age.
That's a young age? And you know how singers and vocalists, they have to practice and tonality and all that stuff. Is it different? Like I say, so that's just more of a natural kind of a gift for you.
Years of experience.
Really?
Years of experience.
Wow.
People ask me, do you teach? And I say, no, I really can't teach what I do. I kind of learned it on my own.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, where does the name Blue Horn come from? It's kind of obvious, but why don't you talk about that, and how did that moniker get stuck on you?
Well, I bought the Blue Horn in '97. I will have had it for 23 years this coming January. And I've gone by my given name, excuse me, for since day one. So many people misspell it, so many people mispronounce it.
Yeah.
That I figured I would make it easier for everybody if I would just simply go. I have this blue horn that I play, and I play blues styled, blues-based music. Right. So why not make it easy for everybody?
Did you put the label on yourself?
I did.
You did. Okay.
I did.
Now, like Ricky King didn't walk up and say, "Hey, hey, Blue Horn, get up here and play." So nobody stuck that moniker on you.
No, I put it out there myself.
Interesting. Yeah. Now, we talked about some of the older blues and some of the different styles you play, and you probably play a little bit of that in a bit, but. What's your take on some of the contemporary, the contemporary state of music in general, and let's say trumpet players, or just blues music and the styles that you're in? What's your take on the current state of music versus how it was when you were coming up through the '80s, let's say?
I would say that well, trumpet players in general are pigeonholed quite a bit, I think, these days. A lot of people, they see the trumpet and they immediately think jazz. And a lot of trumpet players, of course, do play jazz, and many, I would say, of the well-known trumpet players these days are in the jazz field.
Correct.
I'm not a jazz guy, by and large. There are some aspects of jazz that I like, and there are some aspects of jazz that I incorporate into what I do. Mostly the early styles, New Orleans styles, the Kansas City styles. Right. I incorporate that into my playing.
And definitely New Orleans.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, definitely New Orleans.
But I don't know. Trumpet players, yeah, they tend to get, like I said, they tend to get pigeonholed.
You don't
with
hear
one
them.
thing.
You don't hear them very often as well. You know,
Not
you
nearly
really,
as
you really
much as
don't
you
hear
used
them
to.
as you
Trumpet,
used to.
the trumpet used to be a prominent instrument in modern music.
Mm-hmm.
Very prominent. I would say probably right up until, I don't know, I guess the 50s, because in the pre-rock and roll days.
Yeah. Well, you realize after the show and everybody sees it, everyone's going to go out and learn how to play the trumpet. So, I mean, you know, you're going to be that innovator and bringing it all back.
I can only hope.
Well, you know, let's talk a little bit before you get up and play. Let's talk a little bit about your new CD. You just released a brand new CD.
I did.
And talk about that a little bit, and talk about some of the people you have on there. It's an amazing piece of work.
Oh, I have so many good musicians playing on there. My core band consisted of Bobby Gus Ledwell on the guitar, Sven Larsson on bass, Steve Bancuti on drums, Jim Heffernan out of the Worcester area on playing the keyboards, and I enlisted the help of some very good friends to do background vocals with me and play a few horn lines here and there. Amity Castanel, Jeff Giacomelli on their saxophones, and who do I have? Diane Blue, Amanda Cody, Lisa Marie, Brian Templeton, Eddie Shear, all doing background vocal.
Amazing. And that core group
Yes.
that you have are called the
Caretakers.
The Caretakers. Johnny Bluehorn and the Caretakers.
Yes.
Awesome. And what's the name of your CD?
It's called "It's What I Do," and it's an amalgamation of styles. I don't, as going back to what I said before about being pigeonholed, I don't like that. I like all styles of music. I play all styles of music. So I made a gumbo, if you will, of different styles and different eras.
Now, you were not always a singer. You started out pretty much playing the trumpet.
Right.
And where did the vocal comes in where you realized that you had some vocal chops? And when did you start combining your vocals with the horn?
Well, I started singing when I was a kid, but I didn't really make anything serious out of it. I wasn't able to emote and really put forth emotion into my vocal until I came to Boston and I got immersed into the music community there. And I had a roommate in my first apartment in Boston. He and I used to go onto the roof of our apartment building on the corner of Hemingway and Haviland Streets.
Oh,
in the
wow,
back
I
bay.
know it well,
We'd sit around and have a little fun together and and start singing Hall & Oates songs. It's harmonizing with things.
Nice.
and learning and harmonizing with one another. He could sing like a bird.
Cool.
And so that was my impetus, and I really wanted to. I just got the bug. I really wanted to sing more.
Cool.
And at first I sang horribly. I had poor technique. I was singing from my throat instead of working with the diaphragm, which is where I learned how to play the trumpet from.
Right.
And eventually I figured that out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's about time, rather than talk about your music, where the folks at home can listen to it a little bit.
I'm ready.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to sit back and buckle up and listen to Mr. Johnny Bluehorn.
A quart of oil, a gallon of gas. Man, I sure do hope it lasts. Destination love. Destination love. If I get stuck, just give me a shove. Destination love. Well, I can't wait to see her smile. Only got about 10 more miles. Destination love. Destination love. If I get stuck, just give me a shove. Destination love. Well, I passed a bus, I passed a truck, and I must be doing fine. I'm so close I can almost feel her sweet lips on mine. Well, if the front tire blows, I've got a spare. If that one goes, I'll still get there. Destination love. Destination love. If I get stuck, just give me a shove. Destination love, man. Well, I crossed the bridge and I climbed the hill and it only steamed up twice. If this old car can go one more mile, then I'll be in paradise. She'll be waiting there, I know. Left turn, right turn, here I go. Destination love. Destination love. If I get stuck, just give me a shove. Destination love. Well, if I get stuck, just give me a shove. Destination love. Oh, look out, baby, I'm coming down the driveway to you now, honey. And Lucy, I'm home. So long, oh, how I hate to see you go. Mm-hmm. So long, oh, how I hate to see you go. Ooh. And the way that I miss you, baby, honey, I guess you'll never know. Oh, no. We've been together so long to have to separate this way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been together so long to have to separate this way. Ooh. I guess I'll have to let you go now, baby, and pray you'll come back home to me one day. Oh. you once said that you love me, baby, but I can see you've changed your mind. Ooh. Well, you once said that you love me, baby, but I can see you've gone and changed your mind. Why don't we reconsider, baby, and give our love, give our love, give our love just a little more time. Sugar and spice and sweet little puppy dog tales. That's always been the difference between the gals and males. Ooh. But not since I took one look at them blood red nails. I know a whole lot of men, they're all doing time in jails. Well, if you look on their backs, they got 10 long-inch deep trails. And just ask them how they got them, and then listen to their tale. This is what they'll tell you. They'll say, blood red nails are going through my brain. Blood red nails are driving me insane. Blood red nails, you know they cause me pain. Blood red nails, it's a crying shame. Oh, they'll be nailing my coffin shut with them blood red nails. Went to a party on a Saturday night, trying to dance that I just couldn't get right. In walked a woman who was dressed like sin, intoxicated in his bathtub gin. She looked at me, I looked at she, we decided that we had to be we. She sauntered over like a cat on the prowl. Without a word, she gave me a swat in the jowl. The heat of passion had become full flame. It burned me up, I didn't even know my own name. I turned around, she threw me down, and the last thing I heard was the sickening sound of those blood red nails going through my brain. Blood red nails driving me insane. Blood red nails, you know they cause me pain. Blood red nails, it's a crying shame. Oh, they'll be nailing my coffin shut with them blood red nails.
Wow, Johnny, you did not disappoint. You did not disappoint.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
You know, and I'm sure a couple of those cuts are on your new CD.
Absolutely.
Cool. And we're going to talk a minute about, you know, where you can get that. But you know, for the sake of time, you know, with all the people that you know, and all these places that you're going to be playing, why don't you let the folks at home know some of the places where you play, and you know, you play some of the big ones, and you've got quite a good schedule coming up. So why don't you rattle off some of the places where you play?
I will. Well, I play. I'll be playing next month the annual Christmas show, hosted by Jimmy Two Suits Capone down at Chan's in Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
And that is a show. That is a show.
You want to go to this show.
You want to go to that one. Two Suits is crazy.
But I also have two shows coming up within the next few weeks that where you can see me perform with the Caretakers. One is next Friday, the 29th, at the Post Office Pub in North Grafton. And which is a nice place. It's kind of off the radar, but it's a really nice place to go see music. They nice folks there. It's nice sight lines. It's a fun room.
Cool.
And I'm also going to be performing at the Jasper Hill Cafe in
That's a great venue.
Millis. They're now in Millis.
You doing the Sunday brunch thing?
No, this is going to be a Friday night performance. It's the 20th of December.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have a great Sunday brunch there that they have. Our good buddy Alana Katz plays out there quite a bit.
She's wonderful.
She is a great lady. But is there anyone you want to, you know, give a shout out to? You know, any of you, maybe your bandmates or anybody that you might want to say hello to?
Well, of course, I want to say hello to my lovely wife Julia. Hi, honey. And yes, all my friends, all my musical friends, all the people who come to see me perform and have come to support what I do, all the great shows that that I've been a part of, and I've met so many wonderful people. So I just want to say hi to everybody. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for buying my CD. If you haven't bought my CD,
right,
buy my CD.
How can people get a hold of you? How can they do that? Where can they find you?
They can find me online at www.johnnybluehorn.com. There's a link there to CD Baby where you can purchase my CD. You can either purchase an actual physical CD to hold and read and all that stuff like the old days, or you can do the newfangled version of downloading it directly to your tablet, your computer, your device, your phone, your car. These days, right. You can do that.
Yeah, like I say, you know, I turn on my toaster oven, and you know, there you are, you know, coming out of my toaster oven, you know.
Is there black smoke coming out of the back?
No, you know, kind of blue smoke, you know, little blue smoke.
Perfect.
That's cool. But Johnny, you know, we could continue talking forever. There's so many things and so many memories I'm sure that you have that we could talk about. And but first of all, I want to, you know, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Frank. I really appreciate it. It's been a
really good pleasure. And folks, I always encourage people to go out, as John said, to support your local musicians. You know, these people are out there, they're performing for you. And oftentimes you can go and see these people sometimes with no entry fee. And you
yes.
can enjoy a nice meal and enjoy a nice beverage or two and sit back for a couple of hours and hear the talent of Johnny Blue Horn.
Correct.
And many other people. So I always encourage you to support your local musicians. And I would not be able to do this show without the expert direction of Roxanne Morse, who is pushing the buttons today and making us look and sound pretty. And obviously, everybody here at SMAC. And we have a little special guest in the studio today, Cheryl Flaherty, who has been giving both standing and sitting ovations to Johnny here. So Johnny, once again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And we're going to have to, you know, we have so many things to talk about. You know, maybe someday you can join our Repeat Offenders Club. You know.
Okay.
You can be a repeat offender here.
Why not? Put me on the list.
So folks at home, thanks again for tuning in. Support your local musicians. And as always, I am Frank Walsh. Tune in and tune on. That was good.